It is Brian Shannon from alphatrends.net. Today is Wednesday, the 21st of October, 2020, and the market was a little bit lower here today. Let's take a look at this daily chart. We're approaching a very important juncture, and that is this 339, 340 level, and it's important for a number of reasons. We've got the, let's just erase all this stuff off there, and you can see this blue is the 20-day moving average, which is crossing up through the green 20-day moving average, and we have, of course, this prior band of resistance in this area that so far is holding as support. And on top of that, we have the volume weighted average price from the peak as well as this pullback low, all clustered together in this area. When we go to an intermediate term time frame, this being the 15-minute time frame, I've been saying that we're guilty till proven innocent on the intermediate term time frame for a couple reasons. We're below the volume weighted average price from the gap to new highs last week, and we're below the declining 5-day moving average. New highs for this move, that is, of course, not all-time highs when we look at the weekly time frame. Anyways, back to that 15-minute time frame. We are right now on the month-to-date volume weighted average price. And again, the more important level is down here. What it's going to take for me to get bullish on this market on the intermediate term trend will be for this market to see it back above the flat to advancing 5-day moving average. That's the orange. Until then, we're kind of in a holding pattern here, and a lot is going to be dependent upon earnings reports. And we're seeing all kinds of movement in the larger stocks today. We saw Netflix and Amazon lose some ground, whereas Facebook and Google had big winning days. So it remains a market for individual stock picking, and we've had some great stocks. The Nasdaq is at a similar juncture at that we're coming just above rather at that 280 level, which is the 20 and 50-day moving average, the volume weighted average price from this low and that high as well. And we remain below the declining 5-day moving average. So for now, it's guilty till proven innocent. It wouldn't be a surprise to see it come down back into this area. So just be careful about buying dips. The Russell 2000 did get below the volume weighted average price for the month, which has been kind of holding it. It only did so very briefly, but we are kind of more neutral in here because the pattern is not yet made lower highs and lower lows below the declining 5-day moving average. The daily time frame, of course, this market has outperformed recently, but you still have to take it very seriously because the other group that has really been outperforming over the last month has been the biotechs, and they've completely fallen apart. In other words, they've gotten back below the volume weighted average price from the peak over here, and as well as below the volume weighted average price from this low. I've been cautious to this group for one simple reason. It's below the declining 5-day moving average and showing a pattern of lower highs and lower lows. I don't like to play guessing games as to where support might be found. I like to look for evidence. That's why I didn't try to buy in here at the conjunction of these two volume weighted average price levels. You've got to let it bleed out. And maybe you won't pick the bottom, but guess what? Only liars consistently pick the bottom. No one does it properly. If you do, you get very stinky fingers. The semiconductors are also, they've had a very good run, but they're below a declining 5-day moving average. Now, their month-to-date volume-weighted average price comes in at about 183 and change, so keep an eye on that area. That's also where we see the 20-day moving average rise up to meet it. It's not a buy there, though. It's a level of interest that tells us we want to get interested in the potential to buy, but we don't want to buy yet. Still some great stocks out there. Hope you caught this CRSR. It's been a monster here recently. I talked about that one in the week in a couple of videos. The end of the week video as well as the Traders for a Cause video on Sunday. Here's the daily chart. Just a perfect move out of that volume weighted average pinch that we were talking about. PRTS is another one that I'm involved in. I have 1/3 position left. I want to add if it can get over this little peak right here. Again, there's still a lot of stocks setting up. I talk about them every day for subscribers to Alpha Trends. Maybe come take a look. Probably not next week though, because we're ahead of the election, and I don't anticipate it being the best trading market there is.